Hey, hello my friend. One of the most difficult tasks for any artist at any levels from beginners to advanced is to write the dreadful artist statement. I know. It is one of the most difficult things to do. So if you are watching this video, it's probably because either you need to write an artist statement or you need to update your artist statement. Well, my friend, you are in the right place because here I'm gonna show you a simple 3-step framework that you can use at any time to write a beautiful, clear art statement that you can use not only for your website, but you can use for all things branding and marketing of your art career. All right, so before we talk about the artist statement, my name is Sergio Gomez. I'm an artist, curator, gallery owner, author, art business coach, and the goal of this channel is to simplify marketing and art business so that you can spend more time creating and doing what you love in the studio. So if you like that, my friend, make sure you click on the subscribe button and also on the little bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. Great, so let's talk about the artist statement, the one thing that we all run away from. And I know I'm doing this video on the one thing that everybody runs away from, but that's okay. The idea is that to make it easy, simplify it so that you have a framework that you can use. And actually this is video 1 of a series of 2 videos that I'm doing on artist statement. On this video, I'm gonna focus on how to create it, this 3-step framework that's super easy to use, how to make it bulletproof and amazing, making sure that it communicates. And then in video number 2 that you make sure you wanna watch, I'm gonna talk about how you can take that art statement, break it down, and really make it amazing, really how to simplify it, use it for your marketing, your emails, your captions, how to create an amazing Instagram profile, how to also create an elevator pitch. Everything needs to be connected. Otherwise, you're giving different messages. So it's gonna be really awesome, both video 1 and 2. So let's get right into it, my friend. The big problem with art statements is that they are confusing. I have read hundreds of them, perhaps thousands of them. I'm an artist, but I'm a curator too. I've been curating shows, over 150 shows I have curated in my career from artists from around the world. So I get to read a lot of art statements. Plus, I have to write art statements, not only for my own, but also for curatorial shows. So a lot of times they are confusing. Your art statement should not explain your art, which is a big problem. A lot of times we think like, oh no, the art statement needs to explain my artwork. No, you don't have to explain your art. That's the job of the art itself, right? To stand in front of an audience and give something to the viewer. So step number 1, if you want to create an amazing art statement that stands out, here's what you need to do. Imagine a triangular shape. At the center of that triangle, write the word art. The main focus of your art statement is to bring attention to the art, not to yourself, to the art. So pick one of the corners of that triangle. I would say the top corner, and on that corner write the word what. In other words, what is it that you make? Answer the question, what do I make? What do I make? Are you a painter? Are you a sculptor? Are you a photographer? Are you a multimedia artist? Are you a multidisciplinary artist? Are you a mixed media artist? What in the world is it that you make? Super important question that will help you start your artist statement. In simple words, don't make it complicated. What is it that you make? Describe it, the thing. As art is an object, right? It's something that you are creating, or an experience. For some of you, it might be an experience that you're creating. So write down exactly what it is that you make. Make that list. And as we go through this exercise, I'm gonna show you, how I have used the same framework to rewrite my own art statement. Now, what I wanted to start here, before I started describing my artwork, I also gave a little bit of a statement of who I am. I am a US-based artist, best known for creating life-size figurative paintings in an abstract style, right? If I were to describe my work to you by phone, hey, what I do is like, I create these big paintings, right? That are based on the figure, and their style is abstract. In other words, they are not photorealistic, they are not, hyper-realism. They're abstract. They're loose. The way I paint my figures is loose. So there you go. I'm starting to write down some ideas. So even if you have never seen my work, it starts to give you an idea of what it is that I do. And then I kind of describe it a little bit further. So my paintings depict figures, right? Because I said, it's figurative painting, depict figures as silhouettes or as shadows or any energy light. In other words, I'm telling you how I paint those figures that are on my work, right? The figures exist in multi-layered fields of color, texture, and patterns that come from nature. In other words, I use a lot of layers in my work, in my paintings, and throughout those layers, I like to put colors and textures and patterns that often come from inspired by nature. So that's how I would describe my work. And of course, I can add this statement after writing all types of ideas and words that came to mind and looking at them and reading them over time. So I'm kind of giving you here the result of my own research, right? Here it is. And I recommend that at one point you bite the bullet and actually put something together. You could be thinking about it forever, and that's the problem with many artists. They read it and they just can never come out with a phrase that they enjoy. Well, there's not such a thing as the perfect statement. Just have something that you can say, well, this kind of sort of describes it. I'm going to help you to clean it up at the very end with this awesome tool that I want to share with you. And it's a free tool that's online. Let's go to step number 2. Step number 2 is super important. So we said you have a triangle. At the center is the word art. On the top, you have on one corner of that triangle, you have the word what, so indicating what is it that you make. In the next corner, they pick another corner of the triangle and use the word influences. What are the influences that allow you to create what you do? Because none of us make art in a vacuum, at the end of the day. Even if it's the most abstract thing in the world, non-conceptual, it comes from somewhere, which is you. It comes from you, your experiences, the data that you have collected over time, right? So that's are your influences. So here you can talk about your inspiration. Simply put, what inspires you to make your art? What moves you to make the art that you make? For some of you, maybe something that you are super passionate about. Maybe there's a social cause or a social issue. For some of you, maybe it's escapism, from a past trauma. For some of you, maybe something that it just brings you joy and enjoyment, and the process of working in the studio and getting your hands dirty. Talk about what is it that inspires you, that moves you, that motivates you to create what you do. Let me show you how I would do this part related to my artwork. I am influenced, and that's a great way to start that sentence. I'm influenced by the cycles of life and our spiritual awareness throughout those cycles. My paintings explore the juxtapositions of reality versus memory, flesh versus spirit, life versus death. Now, I'm picking like some words here that I was writing down. This is not exactly my final statement. I'm going to show you how I'm going to clean it up. But just kind of verbalizing it, putting something down, right? Putting an idea down. It's a step. It's a process. I'm going to show you. Don't worry, I'm going to show you at the very end how to take these ideas, run it through this online tool that's going to clean it up for you. And then the last piece of the puzzle, the step number 3, in creating your artist statement, a really artist statement that communicates and stands out, is you got to think about what is your goal as an artist, right? How do you bring these ideas to the present? What is it that you want to do with this art? What are your goals? What are your aspirations as an artist with this work? Not necessarily that you have to have this in your artist statement, but I think it's a beautiful thing to do. I think it's a wonderful thing to kind of like express your mission. What's your mission? I believe every artist is on a mission. I believe if you're watching this, if you're an artist, that you are an artist on a mission. And your mission, even if you don't know exactly what that mission is, that mission, materializes the moment that you walk in your studio and you start making your art. That is part of your mission, the making of it. So I want to encourage you to think about this one, because it's a really beautiful way to end and encapsulate, your artist statement. So here we go. In a world dominated by technology and consumerism, I want my paintings to relate to our universal human desire to feel alive. That is my goal. My goal is that when you look at my paintings, you remember your humanity in the midst of all this tech-driven world. You remember that you're a human and that you feel alive, right? That's my goal. That's my mission as an artist. Maybe you have never thought about this before, and maybe it's a good time to do so. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's something beautiful to even think about it, that you're an artist on a mission. Now you have the 3-part system, right? This 3-part system, which I have been teaching artists from around the world in many of my workshops on how to write a beautiful art statement. Many artists have done it, and it could be like one statement for each one, like one sentence for each one, or it could be 3 sentences, 4 sentences, a whole paragraph. It's entirely up to you. Do not try to, make it sound like everybody else's art statement. Actually, it's better that if you don't read anybody else's art statement, you come up with your own first, and that's what you have. Make it as truth, as honest of who you are. Let's go to the very last step on how to create an amazing art statement that stands out and that can actually work for you, not just sit on a section of your website that nobody will ever read, but that you can use to talk about your art, to create marketing, to create posts, to do an artist talk. You can do many things, which you're gonna learn in my next video. So don't forget to subscribe and click on that little bell button here on YouTube. Here's the tool. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna copy all, and I'm gonna show here on my computer. I'm gonna copy all this text. I'm gonna say copy, and then you're gonna go to a free tool online that's called Quillbot. Go there, and you have 2 sections. On the left hand side, you can write anything you want. There's a limit of how much you can write. And then you click paraphrase, and on the right hand side it's going to give you a paraphrase version of what you wrote. And there are different ways in which you can see that, either standard, fluency, formal, simple, creative, expand, and short. Really great tool. Now, you only have access to the first 2, standard and fluency, with the free version, which is all you need. That's what I'm going to use right now. If you wanted some of the other ones, like more simple, more creative, more shortened, then you can buy the upgrade, which again, I'm using the free one. So I'm gonna click here on the left box. I'm gonna say paste, and there's my artist statement. And now, if your artist statement is too long, then do it in 2 sections. First put 1 section, and then you do the second section. Once you have this right here, click on paraphrase. In a matter of seconds, you're gonna have a revise. Any grammatical errors will be fixed and restructured artist statement. So I'm right now in the standard version. So in the standard version, look how it has changed, and everything that's red are words that it has changed for you and has restructured so that it sounds better. So if my first paragraph now says, I am an American artist best recognized for my life-size abstract figurative paintings. That's pretty close to the old one. Instead of US-based, American. I think that's good. I can live with that. My second paragraph. In my paintings, humans appear as shadows, auras, energy light, or silhouettes. The figures are set within complex fields of color, textures, and pattern, many of which are inspired by elements of nature. I like this one, how it sounds much better. I think it communicates easier and better, easy to understand. So I like that. Then the next paragraph, the cycles of life and how we develop our spiritual awareness through those cycles have an impact on me. My paintings look at the contrast between life and death, reality and memory, and the physical and the spiritual. I love that too. And then the last one, I want my paintings to speak to the fundamental human urge to feel alive in a society when technology and communications are so pervasive. I love that. I love that. Again, I could not have said it better myself. So once you have, your artist statement rectified, corrected, and so on, and again, this is not set in stone. You can still go and change it. And by the way, if you don't like it, you can click rephrase again, and it will reconfigure it. Click on the fluency tab. There's one here at the tab says fluency. Click on fluency, and this will kind of summarize, kind of make it more conversational. So I'm a US-based artist known for my life-size abstract figurative paintings. People appear in my paintings as silhouettes, auras, shadows, or energy light. The figures exist in multi-layer fields of color, texture, and pattern, which are frequently inspired by nature. Love that. I'm influenced by life cycle and our spiritual awareness as we move through them. Yep. My paintings contrast reality with memory, fresh with spirit, and life with death. In an age of technology and consumerism, I want my paintings to speak to our universal human desire to feel alive. I love this. This is kind of more fluent, more simplified. So for one, becomes a little bit more formal. This one is more fluent. And now, my friend, you have the most amazing, artist statement. And you know what? I have watched tons of videos here on YouTube of artist statement, many of them which are really old, and I wanted to create this one that is fresh, that shows you some of the latest tools that you can use. Now there are other tools too. ChatGPT is one of the newest ones that you can take your old artist statement and then you can ask a ChatGPT to create all kinds of variations from it. But we're gonna learn some of that in the next video. So my friend, all I have to say is hope you watch video number 2, part number 2 on this one, because we're gonna break it up so that you can use this in your marketing. I'm gonna give you ideas of how you can use your art statement to make money for you, right? As an artist, you can use it to help you sell your art, talk about your art, do all kinds of amazing things, because it's not used, which, to watch a video on how to write a beautiful artist statement if it's just going to be sitting pretty in your website forever and only 5 people are going to ever read it. No, let's make this thing to use. I'm a practical guy. All my videos are practical. If they're not practical, I don't make them. So if you like, my friend, and by the way, if you want to check out my coaching program for artists, take your art career to the next level by making your art business and your art marketing easy, all you got to do is go to theartistnextlevel.com. Look for all my links under the description of this video, and I will see you in part number 2 of how to make an amazing artist statement that stands out. Goodbye.